so I got this up here right now. Everything is notched out properly. I actually think I'm gonna cut a little bit more here and then slot this. So if I ever do need to move this left or right, I'll have enough room to do that. And then, you know, I wouldn't be able to do that though. Yeah, that would have to be the same. So I would just have to slot this and then the transmission would move. This would stay in the same place. Because I'm gonna put holes right here and then put threaded inserts inside these frame connectors. Alright, so I just used my calipers, got the thickness of the rail, divided it by 2, and then I scribed a line from the rail onto this plate. We're gonna put 2 holes, one on this side and one on that side. And then I could also go on this other side of the rail and check. And it's pretty much perfect right in the center. So now I need to go on the side. I'll divide it by 2 and then divide it by 2 again, and then I'll mark here and here, and then we can put some holes in it. And then I'm gonna keep it up just like this and drill it so that way the holes will transfer into the rail. And then I'll take this back apart, widen this hole, widen that hole, and then do the same for the rail. And then I'll grind down where my threaded inserts are going to be and then weld those in place too. Alright, so because of the thickness of the head on this, when it goes inside the frame rail, I wanted it to sit flat. I didn't take an account for the thickness of that. So what I'm going to do is weld a plate on top of this, and then we're going to chop it off. So this will drop it even further, or actually it'll raise it. It'll raise this entire piece because the mounting point is higher. That way it'll give this some room, but we're still in the same spot as we were before. This is like 250 thousandths, 1/4 inch thick. And this lip on this square tubing is around 190 thousandths, something like that. So it's still going to sit a little bit further. It's going to be off the frame rail some, no matter what. So it is what it is. We're just going to weld it up like this. I'll TIG weld this all the way around here and then come back and cut this off. And then we'll do that side too. Alright, so I got my holes ground down, getting ready to weld these in place. So I'll weld these 2 and those 2. And then the thing that we have after that is I have some pipe coming for the exhaust to have a spot to go through. This flat bar going all the way across is just not going to work out. I do not want to run the exhaust even lower if I don't have to, because I don't want to be scraping on the ground like it was before when I got this car. So we're going to make some provisions in this so the exhaust has a way to go through it. Got my pipe cut in half, and then I got marked where I want. So this will go into the place of that. It'll be raised a little bit higher than this. And it looks like it might actually end up having to get offset over to the side of the transmission. So we're gonna run it probably right along here, along this. And then it'll go through here, and then I think I'm probably going to offset it this way and then go up. Alright, let's take this back down. Got that side mark too. Take this down and then we'll cut it. Alright, so I got it tacked right there, and on this side. Now I think I'm gonna run maybe a couple tacks with some actual filler right here, just to hold everything in place, so that way it doesn't move when I go to take this down. Alright, got everything welded. One thing I'm worried about is it cracking right in the middle of this tube. And just because of the weight of this, when the car is moving, it's going to be bouncing. And right now, I can flex this whole thing with my hand. So we're only supporting it on the ends, and then we have like 250 pounds like right in the center. So what I'm going to do is I got this plate right here. And it's going to go up like that. I'll weld it to this, and then I'll have some of it sticking over just a little bit, and I'll have a hole for like a place for my exhaust hanger, and then it'll support here. It'll support the entire thing. I'll be able to raise this up so it's not sagging, and then you know, I'm gonna do both sides. We'll do one here, one there, so it'll support the entire thing. It'll support this, it'll support that, and then it shouldn't sag anymore. On the inside, I'm going to weld a plate on both sides of the floor pans, and then I'm going to use 2 3/8 threaded inserts on both sides. So we'll have 2 there and 2 right here. Well, I broke my tool trying to get these threaded inserts in. These threaded inserts, this is 3/8, a little too big for this size tool. But yeah, this arm just snapped right off. I have another style. The arms are a lot longer. It's a little bit beefier, but it won't fit in this tight space. So I was trying to use this, and yep, broke right in half. Nice clean break. All right, so now that at least got them started, all 4 of them, I'm just gonna go on the top side and tack them in place so they can't move. That's the only way that I can guarantee that these threaded inserts will hold up, since if I buy another one of these, it's probably going to break again. Alright, so change of thought. I cut this off. I got everything ready to get welded. I was going to run this on top of the tab that I had sticking over, but I think this would be better mounted like this. Alright, so we're all done. Everything is nice and tight. When I lowered the transmission, there was absolutely no flex at all. I didn't see any movement, so super happy about that. It feels very, very solid. This thing is not going anywhere. So really happy how it turned out. I'm going to clean up some of the welds, sand them down, sand it with 80 grit, and then put some epoxy primer on it and call it good. So transmission side, the Crossmember is completely finished. Now that I have this located and everything's set in place, I can go back up and weld the motor mounts in place. So that way when I go to drop everything in, this will be another locator for everything lining up the way that I want it to. Alright, there it is. All finished. This is kind of what I had in my head with the exhaust hangers. Not so much this, but the way that this is mounted, it wanted to flop down, so I just added that one, which is alright. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It added some rigidity to it, and it's still isolated with this rubber. It's still going to absorb the vibrations, so I think it looks kind of cool too. Yep, the only thing I'm going to do now off camera is clean this up, put some epoxy primer down. I thought about maybe getting it powder coated, but I don't think I'm going to go that route. I think epoxy primer is good enough. It'll still look alright and have protection.